What's up, fellow lords of gaming? Welcome back to the channel. So jumping right into Marvel Future Fight and giving you guys a look at Morgan Le Fay. I don't know why I was thinking about that. Oh, I know why, because Hela looks a lot like Morgan Le Fay now. But looking at Hela at T3 with her new uniform. So what I want to do is I'm going to jump into the highest content that I currently have for Null, and basically take a look at her there. So let's take a look at overall with her skills really quickly so we can go into her preview. She has a very simple rotation for her skills. We want to just basically see like what her damage output's going to really look like overall. So I'm going to turn off the VFX. I hate that we do that so much because the VFX just looks so cool and they put time into that. So anyways, we got a very simple combo of 3, 4, 5. So it's just going to be 3 immediate into 4, and then it looks messed it up. And then it's going to be a relatively long delay to get into 5. So let's try it again. 3, 4. You're basically waiting till you see all the blades summon around her, and then you can go into the 5th skill there. When you have the tier 3 up, it's 3, 4, 5. That same delay still in there. 3, 4, wait to see the blades around her, 5, and then immediately into 6. I failed it just because I pressed 5 again. And so that's what you're basically looking for. And even if you have her tier 4, we're not looking at that just yet. You're just starting out with the 7 skills, so that way you get the bonus from the attacks. The bad part I feel about this though is like if we go back out, so you can look at it here, it's basically 7, 3, 4, the delay's still in there, 5, and then 6. Now, the bad part that I feel about that is the countdown on rotations. So if you were to look at her skills, essentially, right? So going back to her skill windows over here, you can see that we're going with a 3 rotation, right? So the 3 is basically going to pop off and give you that frenzy buff, the damage accumulation overall. And it's also going to make you immune. So you're really good. You're safe while you're casting a skill. The 4th skill, you get the decrease down on the skills and you get another increased skill damage, and it provides you barriers, so you're still protected a lot. This is the difference with like some other characters like Storm, for instance. She just doesn't seem protected at all inside some of her animations. And then you basically roll into 5 and get the frenzy buff and the invincibility, so you're basically covered throughout the entirety of this skill. And you go 3, 4, 5, right? And she gets a recovery for any damage that you do take on here. And then you roll into her tier 3, which is basically up over here, and you know that hits you with the increased basic damage as well. And then you get a 100% increase of the charge rate to accumulate pure damage. So she should be primed to do a lot of damage. Now when you look at her tier 4, you can see here that it provides that to enemies. It's gonna provide that all basic attack, decrease their attack and their defenses. And for you, it's going to give you an increased attack. That's 7 seconds for that increase of all basic attacks. The question is with that delay between, you know, 3, 4, you're just 1 second, but at the 5, you're pretty much like into 2 or 3. Are you going to get that increase throughout for all of the skills? We'll have to see. I don't have her at tier 4 yet. I will tier 4 her. The only problem is that I don't have the ability to tier 4 her with my inventory items. So this is going to be something that we're probably going to be plenty about complaining in the new year, because realistically we have enough tier 4s now out on the market that having characters enter at T3 or Transcendent just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the acquisition of tier 4 materials, specifically Souls of the Fault Team, needs to be upped in 24. We've almost had like 7 months, a year plus worth of tier 4s at this point. Like we really need this to be addressed. Like the resources for tier 4ing, and just they're too few. It's just too few, and they're not introducing modes for us to grind these things out, which is just terrible. Like, give it to us so that way we can grind those things out. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you my build currently for Hela. Nothing really magical about it at all. Realistically, like you see, I don't have any Uru on her because I was just using her for leadership and abilities before. Got her at rank 4 type enhancement. I just got her at a stage 6 for Power of Angry Hulk, and then artifact. I have her artifact, but it's just a 4-star artifact, 3 rating on it. I do have it, you know, available for there. And then I've got a CTP of destruction because now you might end up just getting away with having Hela as a CTP of destruction and give her somewhat back and forth between the two, right? So nothing necessarily to write home about with the character at all, right? Nothing too fancy anyway, so that way you can see it. Now, I have been able to use Hela before for some things, but I want to see how much of a uniform upgrade this is basically going to be for her. So we're going to do stage 29 because that's the highest one I have unlocked. I'm in blast types beyond that, so for what we have unlocked. So let's go. Here we go. So let's go with Hela here. We're gonna knock off on Captain whatever the fuck her name is, Sherog, and then I'm sorry guys, I could not remember what her name is, and then we'll throw in my girl Mantis overall. So we're getting the buffs basically from these two characters. You can see that here, supervillain faction buffs, and then she's giving the buffs as well overall. So yeah, it's all allies. Okay, all right, so that's where she's getting her buffs from. So then we only can go with like female characters on this stage, so you have to be in there for the female characters. I don't necessarily want to hit on those, so let's just go with these characters. All right. So let's see what we can do in terms of damage to Null. All right, so we're gonna start out with 3. We're gonna rotate into 4. It has to wait till the skill comes up. She got stunned. She got stunned. All right, nothing there. That was pitiful. 3, 4, and then we'll go into 5. 2 bars, not enough. So we'll go now. We got the tier 3 going. So we'll go 3, 4, wait for the summon, 5, and then into 6. Oh, that was some nice damage with the 6. That was nice damage with the 6. Can't complain about that damage. She's getting stunned though. 3, 4, 5 we got there. So there's not enough damage, like really for a bar inside of here realistically with the 3, 4, and 5. Get out of that. So let's go back 3, 4, gotta wait for it, and then 6, 5. All right, so we got like 2 bars basically coming on that rotation. So we can go 3, 4, I went too quick, 5, and then we can go to 6. But there's a lot of nice damage on that 6. 3, 4, wait for it. She got stunned to the pit. I don't know why I pressed into the 5, that was stupid. But we should be able to get our 6 up for this rotation. So let's go into the rotation with the 6 here. So we go 3, 4, wait for it, 5, and then the 6. This is decent damage there on her, So 3, 4, wait for it, and then we can go into 5. It's just not enough damage on that normal rotation unless I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, I just don't feel like there's anything necessarily there on that rotation. 3, 4, wait for it. Damn, she got stunned again. Let's see if I can still go through. So still damage is there. So that was nice. So it took me about 230 basically for that, right? And that's sans anything for it, right? So let's go back. Let's back out of this. And let's see what kind of damage she basically has against her with her previous uniform. Ooh. There we go. So in this uniform right here, let's go inside here, look at the skills real quick. This is her previous uniform. So we can see it's 3, 5, 4. It's a different rotation inside of here. So we've got 3, 5, and then the delay, and then 4. So just about when you see the chain summons, and then we got 3, 5, 4, and then 6. So 3, 5, short delay chains, and then 6. That's what we got, right? So now, obviously, if the tier 4 is up, it's pretty much the same thing. It's going to be 7, 3, 5, short delay till you see chains, 4, and then 6. Lovely skills Hela has. Lovely skills. So what we want to do is we're going to see basically how long inside of this is it going to take for me to basically do the world boss with this as well. So we're gonna go world boss, null, and we'll just basically go stage 29, right? So that's where we'll be. All right, let's go. So set the allies. We're gonna use the same allies, same teams overall inside of here. And I like to do these videos by comparison just because I like to look at not where the top elite players are with these characters, because the top elite players aren't watching my videos, right? They're just sinking the money in or sinking the time in, and they know these things. I'm doing this for your normal players. I think I'm like a mid player, really. So like most gaming, that's what I am. So, all right, so we're gonna go 3, 5, wait for the chains, and then, man, she just gets guard broken a lot there. Nothing there. 3, 5, wait for the delay, 4 into the chains. There's even less damage happening on this 3-5-4 combo. So we got 3, 5, 4, and then 6. Nice damage. I think the damage on the other uniform is just as good though. So we're gonna go, oh, get out of there. 3, 5, wait for my chains, and then 4. Just there's far less damage that's happening on her 5 and 4 skill. So we can go 3, 5. Damn, I'm about to get guard broken into the hits. 3, 5, 4. There we go. I just wanted to get the 3, 5, 4 going again. 3, 5, chains 4, and then 6. Nice damage, nice damage, nice damage. 3, 5, 4. So, trust me, like, you're gonna want to put a CTP of Rage probably on Hela. Definitely 100% gonna want that CTP. 3, 5, wait for the chains, 4, and 6. Nice damage, nice damage. 3, 5, wait for the chains. 6, 4. Not a whole lot going on there, man. Not a whole lot. 3, 5, chains 4. Or I was gonna have that up. Let's see if I can still rotate into 6 and get some of that damage off. Kind of messed up that rotation. Not a whole lot of damage on it. 3. We're really at it. 3, 5. Hit him. Alright, so that's where we ended up before at 238. We're well off the mark basically. So what I'm gonna do is I want to level up the character. So we're gonna exit out of here, right? Excuse me. What I want to do is we're gonna level up this character now to give her, you know, some kind of similar. So she's still energy damage overall, right? So what we have to do basically, first of all, is we want to, you know, we want to equip, like I can't equip her because I don't meet the, what you call it. So what I want to do is I want to amplify her stats, right? Overall, you're going to take a character to tier 5, make sure that you're getting these to at least 4 or 5, 4 or 5 loaded. I would almost suggest, like, if you have the gold for it, to just go 5. Like, it just makes sense, like, you know. But you know, that's like for your favorite characters, especially ones that you plan on using. So that's 3, and we're not going to stay at 3 at all. That's just a waste of time. We got 4, right, 4. But we want to amplify these. All right, so we got 4 at the very least coming out of this. Be nice to see a 5. Nope, no 4, 5. So we'll amplify this as well. 3s, 4s. Okay, we finally got a 4, but we didn't get a 5. All right, no problem. So that's what we're basically looking at overall to start with the kit, right? Now, regardless of what character that you're going to basically be using, it's going to be whether they're physical or whether they're going to be energy attack. So I want to make sure that I always equip at least 2 of those Urus to complement the character's kit. So if they're energy type characters, then I want to use energy attack. If they're physical attack characters, then I want to make sure that I'm equipping physical attack Urus. Gotta make sure you stay with that, but I want to always give them at least these two as a starting off base. Ooh, almost messed up on that one. I want to give them at least these two as a starting off base. Like, that's just the case, okay? Every character that you plan on leveling up, you should be doing this too, so that way you can give them some semblance of power. Make sure you're doing that. So you can see here with Hela now, I've got that inside my energy attack. My next step that I always like to do is I'm going to take a look at where the character is experiencing or having deficiencies. So for instance, my Hela is not meeting the... Oh, hold on one sec. All right, sorry about that, guys. My freaking Google Home just went off. Scared the shit out of me. So anyways, so I'm looking at my deficiencies for my character. So I can see here she's deficient on critical rate. She's not necessarily hitting the mark on the reduced cooldown duration either, which basically affects how long the skills take to be popped back up. So what I want to do is I want to see how I can mitigate those things. So with Hela specifically, I have her equipped inside this uniform. You can always go inside here, you take a look at the uniform options that you basically have for this character, basically see how they're basically tied off. So you can see I had HP, dodge, critical rate that was up on this uniform, and she's still not necessarily meeting the mark in this uniform, which more than likely that means that she's not going to necessarily hit the mark on this one either. But let's go inside here and do what we have to do to basically max these things out. So first uniform option that she basically has, oh, I didn't even realize I had an upgrade ticket. We're not going to use that on Hela though. Is Shuri, Black Panther. Not a bad uniform option at all in terms of that character. So if you feel like it, go ahead and you know, get that. That was a uniform I think a lot of people have for Shuri outside of the Black Panther uniform. It'd have been better probably to have the Black Panther uniform overall though, in my opinion. Next up, we got Icarus. It's his best uniform, so you're not going to really necessarily complain about having that uniform inside the uniform options. It's just that Icarus isn't a, you know, usable character really in that regard anymore. So then we've got Kraven, the Hunter. It's his best uniform if you're a fan of the Kraven character. I don't think that is a uniform worth people purchasing, but you know, you might feel differently. Next up, who we got next up? Next up is going to be Iceman Blue. So this is going to be a real dud of a uniform right here. Like, I don't think that this is a uniform necessarily that you want to get, but you know, like, I wouldn't get it. Like, this is the truth of the matter. I would not get that uniform for Hela. Well, if you're gonna take her to T4, and then we got Adam Warlock, the Marvel Studios Guardians of the Galaxy 3 uniform. So that's a good uniform. So fairly realistically, I would say like these aren't bad uniform options. Like, you know, I think the worst of them is Iceman Blue, because when you look at Iceman, he's got the Krakoan Summer. So like, you're going back on this uniform, and then like when you want to do the upgrade options for the Iceman uniform, you're basically going to the shop to do these to get the BIOS, and you're gonna have to go back to do those. This is a bit of a problem note that I've noticed with the game, and this is part of the things that has me turned off just a little bit for the game, is essentially we're getting these updates now for the game where they are essentially adding at least one paywalled character option inside uniforms for some of these characters, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because it feels like, you know, you're not basically getting what you want for the character. Like, you know, like now I'm asking not only to purchase the character, but purchase something else if I want to max out the usability of that character, and I particularly don't like it. So for these, I normally go with HP just for survivability. Stay away from the physical and energy defense, and just go with whatever your character's thing is. So for Hela, it's energy attack. So you basically have the options there. I usually just go with HP. Like, you can 100% go with energy attack instead for Hela if you want to. That's just my choose. Now for this one right here, Hela, remember I just showed you was deficient in skill cooldown, but I'm going to ignore that one here, and I'm still go with the HP regardless. She wasn't that deficient where I'm that concerned, and that could be more of a value of my cards. So the dodge is just going to be set at where it is. And then for this one, I noticed that Hela was deficient inside critical rate, where most likely normally my characters are deficient. So I'm going to go with critical rate here, so that way I can max her out. Another way you can look for the character to see if you are is to check the character gears, and you can look at what it is. So you can see here it's ignore defense. That's what it's currently set at. So if I really want to look at, I can see where the exceeded stats, I'm well over on ignore defense. I don't need to have ignore defense be up here. So for instance, if I wanted to, I can come inside this character gear and I can change the option from ignore defense to, let's say for instance, skill cooldown, right? So now I basically get that changed inside of here, and now I can look at the details on my character, and you can see I'm at cooldown, I'm at here, and the only place that I'm deficient now is critical rate. So what I'm going to do for the character then is I'm going to come back inside of my Uru, and I know that I need some critical rate Uru basically to get the character up over the hump. So I'm going to select critical rate. I think at the rate that it was, I'm just going to put 2 of them on there, and we can go back and we can look at the character details now, and you can basically see now I'm at max for the character inside here. So what I normally like to do once I know that I've accomplished getting the character maxed out, and usually it carries over well enough into the new uniforms that you don't have to worry about it. So what I normally like to do at this point is then I will equip HP Urus. That is a preference, but I like to make sure that my HP is up and that the characters are basically able to survive. How many of these you put on your character is completely up to you, but normally I will go 2 and 2 for HP Urus, and then, you know, fill out whatever I need to in terms of crit rate, crit damage, and that'll be the name of the game. Now you can see I don't have a lot of HP Urus, so for now I'm just gonna leave Hela here. And you can figure out how you want to basically play out the rest of the character basically there. But what I've hit is the mark for all of my stats that I basically want to have buffed out completely. Now, next thing up that you basically need to do, unfortunately, is these ISO 8s, right? Get a bit really testy basically in terms of doing these. So you want to level these out as much as possible. I often hate this part. I still think that this is one of the parts to the game that they really need to fix, because these Uru also tend to take up the most of your slots in inventory, which is the only reason why I think that they have not upgraded this at all. But the fact that we're still here having to upgrade in 2023 Uru, right, makes no sense. Like, just make the drops and change the Uru system so that way we're not getting multiple different forms of Uru, and instead we're just getting like either, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 starred Uru, and then, you know, we can basically move on from there. But basically having this foundational level Uru and each of the Uru basically have a different stat feature on them just doesn't make sense anymore. Like, it's 2023, guys. Like, come on, update the goddamn game. And it's quite costly too, so it's a pain in the neck to do these. So I don't necessarily recommend not awakening any of your character stats inside for your Uru. Like, I would suggest, especially any character that you're going to take for T4 or that you plan on playing with any kind of conviction on a day-to-day basis, get in here and update the Uru on those characters and make sure that they have either a set bonus for Power Angry Hulk, Power of Angry Hulk, Overdrive, or Hawk's Eye at the very least. The rest of them, pretty much not worth it, which goes to the point of how they need to update it. If you have artifacts for that character, go ahead and equip it, and then the custom gear is usually dependent on what you're using for the character for. So for instance, inside my custom gear here, I do have a number of CTP of destructions. However, I do believe that Hela is going to perform better with a CTP of rage. And that's for PvP specifically. She's not doing any elemental damage, so no reason to try to jump on a CTP of judgment. And I would probably not go with a CTP of energy because I don't really see her necessarily chain hitting anything. And then what you're really looking at is probably between, I would say probably between CTP of authority, CTP of destruction, or a CTP of rage. I don't want to what I don't want to do for the CTP of Judgment though is go into reforging it without knowing that I'm gonna use her for it. Hela does seem like she's gonna have crossplay between both PvE and PvP because of some of her skill sets inside of here. So I'm gonna play around with her a little bit more before I ultimately make that decision. But now you can see essentially how I buffed out my character. So she's a little bit more buffed out in here. So I think that the uniform, pretty much know that this is gonna probably be the uniform of choice for her. There was a lot more damage that was coming out of this uniform against my man Null. So let's jump back inside World Boss and let's take a look at Hela here. So now we've got her here. We're just gonna basically go back in. And we know the combo here is 3, 4, delay, and then 5, not 3, 5, 4 like it was before. So we're gonna go up, 3, 4, it's a delay till we see the sword. She still got stunned. Still got stunned, I don't get it. That guard break is just terrible. 3, 4, wait for the delay, 5, and then it's a 6. She's getting off some nice damage over there, like I'm not complaining about that at all. So 3, 4, and 5. It's just like the 3, 4, 5 really doesn't do anything, and maybe I'm just running it wrong or something, but it's not really doing enough. Like everything seems to be coming from her 6. And it's kind of messed up because she's getting stunned in that delay for the 4 skill, where you're basically waiting for that. She's just getting delayed there. You can see it, like she's just delayed throughout that. If he throws a hit out, she's seemingly getting guard broken in that 4th skill. So we'll have to wait 3, 4, right there, and then into 5. Not a lot of damage on it either. 3, 4, wait for 5, and 6. Nice damage there, but not exactly what I expected. 3, 4, 5. 4, 5, and we'll just go into 6 and finish it out. So you can see already like what a build can do, right? Like the difference in you basically clearing that was like 230, but that's some bad play by me as well. But you can see the difference in how you play the game, and how you build a character really matters, because there's damage values that basically come behind you trying to build a character kit overall. Could she be improved in terms of what I'm currently playing her as? 100%. Like for instance, I don't necessarily believe like the CTP of Destruction is going to be the best CTP for her. You could go into reforging a CTP here. I can't remember what the CTP reforge option is. So like if I was to go reforge the CTP, yeah, I want to select you. Yeah, I want to select you. And I wanted to reforge the CTP. What is it that pops up for CTP? Why is it not showing me with the reforge option? Ah, there we go. So like a CTP reforge, right? We get the mighty CTP. You can see there it gives the increased damage dealt to boss types as a strike effect, or it gives the increased all basic attacks at plus 20. And you can see here it'll give you an increased damage dealt to boss types by 200%, or the increase all basic attacks and defense by 32%. Realistically, this could be really beneficial for a character like Hela, especially if you just get to increase all basic attacks for that character overall. Mostly because, like, you know, it'll improve obviously the boss type damage that you're dealing, like if you know that that's what you want to do. What you can always do, and what I tend to like to do if I'm really not sure which CTP is working for me, then I typically come and take a look at the highest ratings inside here, and I'll legitimately come in and look at, like, okay, so I know for instance he's got a CTP of regeneration on his. He's going for a completely PvP Hela. That's what he's going for, right? That's his prerogative, and that's what they're doing. But usually taking a look at the top 10, so we've got a CTP of greed Over here, increases, ignores enemies damage decrease by 70%. That's not a bad idea. I didn't really think about a CTP of greed. And then we can look at the top. So even here, you've got like a brilliant CTP of destruction with the increases over there being used. So you can see like there was 3, it's because of where the character's currently sat. It's going to basically depend on what it is that you really feel the value of the character is going to be. I think there might be some value inside of PvE for Hela. I don't know how much value's actually in there specifically for like World Boss Legends, but I'm gonna have to play around with her with a little bit more enthusiasm. This is like my first impression for Hela, and then I'll come back with you guys and give you an update on the character overall. But I hope that gives you at least enough information to get on the right track. Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, peace.